Hello, everybody. Hello, wakey. What's the best show for United fans? United Stands. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the United Stands. I'm Mark Goldbridge, and this is your latest Manchester United news with Wout Weghorst deal done and expected to be announced as early as today. We're into the final stretch with Wout Weghorst. We can't do a deal in a few hours like Chelsea can for Felix or Liverpool can do for Gakpo, but we can take 3 or 4 days to get Weghorst in on loan. And you know what? I think he'll be in for the Manchester derby. Got some interesting insight on Wout Weghorst. Just had a bit of a deep dive. In fact, I'm going to do a proper deep dive video. We're back with those on the members section, so watch out for that. It'll be out this afternoon. But I'm going to give a little bit of an insight on a few sections of comparing Wout Weghorst to Ronaldo over the last 12 months. Now, people will say, well, Ronaldo's been shit. But 12 months ago, Ronaldo was quite good. In fact, for 6 months of the last 12 months, he was quite good. So we're going to have a little comparison on, pressures, shots, defensive work, attacking work, passing, and that. So we'll have a quick look at that in a bit as well. Also, a bit of exclusive about Harry Kane. I mean, it backs up my hunch, but Man United are going for him in the summer. He's the number one target at the moment. Obviously, lots of things can change around injury, form, other opportunities. Who's going to buy the club? Palestri talks are ongoing. He would like to stay, but there are offers for him to go out on loan. What else? Harry Maguire's sent a warning out to his other centre backs that he's fighting hard for his place. I bet Varane and Martinez are shitting themselves. Denzel Dumfries is up for grabs in January. This is a right back that Erik ten Hag likes. Erik ten Hag has been speaking about injuries to Donny van der Beek and Delot. We'll give you those updates as well. He's also spoke about what it means to be in the last 4 of the Carabao Cup. Lots to get into on the show this morning, so make sure you subscribe, smash a like and get involved. Good morning. Wakey. Marky. Right, I'm going to stop doing that. It's just from the watch along. We were having a laugh last night. So Job says, off to the derby. Sounds weird, but I kind of want to see Haaland live, see if he's a human or not, says Job. I mean, look, I'm in a good mood this morning. I'm sure all Man United fans are in a good mood. We've had a good few weeks. I think that the way Erik ten Hag has negotiated the last 2 weeks, 5 games in 14 days, 5 wins. Next round of the FA Cup, 9 points in the Premier League, gets us into 3rd place, joint 3rd, and semi-final of the Carabao Cup. You'd like to say, let's relax a bit, but actually I think we've got what we got. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5 games in the next 2 weeks again. So it just keeps going again, and they're harder games really, aren't they? Man City, Arsenal, Palace, Reading, and then a semi-final, 2 semi-finals legs, which could be, we'll find out tonight, could be Man City, could be Newcastle. We'll hopefully get Wolves or Forest. But look, let's talk about Wout Weghorst first. Lots to talk about. Ten Hag's been speaking after the game last night. What a manager. My man. But Wout Weghorst. So look, bit of a hectic night last night. We have a watch along, we have a match to watch. We talk about all that. And before that, Fabrizio Romano had confirmed that Manchester United have agreed a deal with Wout Weghorst for his signing to come to Manchester United, and that Man United have agreed a deal to bring him to United with Burnley and with Besiktas. Now there's talk, I think MUFC MPB has put it out there this morning from another source that Welcome to Members Club, that Wout Weghorst is not training this morning with Besiktas. I don't know whether that is confirmed or not, but the deal is basically done. The terms of the deal are done. It's basically what's happened. And look, just to give you you might not be interested in this, but just to give you a very broad stroke of what's happening. Weghorst desperately wants to come to United. Ten Hag's been given no money, so has basically said, this is the best we can get for the money you're giving me. So he wants him to come. And the negotiations have been technical because he's on loan from Burnley to Besiktas until the end of the season, and they've got an option to buy him for about 10 million quid. So it's very locked in that he's a Besiktas player, and he's going to probably sign for them in the summer until Man United come along. And then Weghorst is like, I don't want to stay here. I want to go and play for Man United. So Besiktas have got this player on loan that they know that no longer wants to be here, but he's also a Burnley player technically. So it's been Man United struggle to do a deal that's on the table right in front of them, to actually have to deal with 2 clubs. Burnley are happy for him to come on loan to us, and then in the summer they'll negotiate with us if we want to buy him. But Besiktas are like, well, it's our player. So basically we've had to pay money to get him out of it. I think it's about €3 million that Besiktas get. I don't think Burnley are getting anything more. I don't know. I mean, you never know with United. We could be paying 10 million for this. I doubt it. I think there'll be, no more than 5 altogether. And it's a loan on a short-term deal. Besiktas just want to bring somebody in to replace him. So the deal is done. And if you remember from the summer days, we almost have 3 phases with transfers now. You've got terms agreed with the player, deal done with the clubs, and then official announcement. So we're basically at deal done when Besiktas have their replacement, which apparently is going to be a Boubacar from Al Nassr. It's a bit of a triangle, really. You've got Ronaldo from Man United to Al Nassr in Saudi Arabia. They have to get rid of a Boubacar, the Cameroonian striker, and then he goes to Besiktas so we can get Weghorst. So it actually is a triangle. Ronaldo to Al Nassr, Boubacar to Besiktas, and then Weghorst to us. Weird, isn't it? But that often happens in football. So it is done. It's a question of when it's going to be done. I was told this morning it could be announced today. We could get deal. I mean, effectively what I was told is a journalist wouldn't be wrong to put out deal done because it is done. They probably won't do until Besiktas have got their striker sorted. And then Weghorst will fly to Manchester and do it. So he should be a Man United player by tomorrow night, is what I was told this morning. Could be, he won't be in Manchester today, but it could be announced today. But he should be officially a player Manchester United tomorrow. He is match fit. He could go straight into the squad for the Manchester derby. So that is the plan for Manchester United. And, you need a plan like that in the Manchester derby because regardless of what you think about Weghorst, he does give us a different option. Please buy Kane. It means Spurs go back to being a mid-table club, says Zane. We'll talk about Kane in a minute. And hi Mark, would you send Elanga on loan or sell? And would you keep Palestri? Adam, I think we're going to have to send Elanga on loan because I don't think anyone's going to buy him at the moment. Kane's too old at 29, yet Casemiro is 30 and awesome. We'll talk about Kane in a bit, Manchester, because I've got a bit of an exclusive on that. And Ryan says, McTominay's levels below what we want. We should sign a midfielder in the summer, says Ryan. I think McTominay needs to improve massively. I thought he was playing better than this before Christmas, and he's struggling at the moment. I think we can all admit that. Just some quick, right, if you are a member of the channel, make sure you watch this video. It's going out this afternoon. If you're not a member, click the join button. It's also in the live chat, pinned at the top, I believe. Or it was. It's probably not pinned in there now, but we can probably put it in there. Basically, I'm going to do a video deep diving into Weghorst using Ronaldo and probably another couple of strikers. So I'd sort of do these deep dive videos on the members section and it's exclusive extra content. But just to bring a bit of an idea, I just wanted to just give a bit of Weghorst because Weghorst is going to sign for Manchester United. I just wanted to give you a little bit of a comparison between the last 12 months of Weghorst and the last 12 months of Ronaldo. So effectively, over the last 12 months, I can't bloody read my writing here. Oh God, I need it closer. I need my glasses on. I can't fucking read my own writing. What a prat. Okay, shots per 90. Josh has just gifted 20 memberships, so 20 of you will get to watch this later anyway. So basically, and we'll go in a lot deeper on the members video, but just to give you some headlines, shots per 90 over the last calendar year. Weghorst averages 2 shots per 90. Ronaldo averages 3.7. Weghorst's shot accuracy, shots on target, 39%. Ronaldo 34%. So Weghorst is getting less shots on target. Weghorst is getting less shots per 90 over the last calendar year, but he's more accurate with it. Goal conversions, so that's how many goals you convert from the chances you get. Weghorst has a goal conversion rate of 16% over the last 12 months, whereas Ronaldo's was 11%. So, he is converting more than Ronaldo was. And Ronaldo's last 6 months, terrible. Last 12 months, he was top scorer last year. Successful defensive actions per 90, 4.4 for Weghorst, 2.1 for Ronaldo. So, straight away, you can see he's a lot busier. Job, welcome to Members Club. He's a lot busier. Defensively. Aerial duels per 90, 7.2 for Weghorst, 4 for Ronaldo. So he's a lot more, proactive defensively as a front man. Interceptions per 90, 2.1 for Weghorst, 1.2 for Ronaldo. So it's double. So look, defensively, obviously, I think everybody knows that Weghorst is, statistically a pressing monster. We know that. When I think he broke the record in the Premier League last year for Burnley, and the Premier League record, not just for Burnley, for presses per 90. And there was a time where he was top of the presses per 90 league, ahead of people like Calvin Phillips and stuff. So he does press a lot. He does do a lot of work. But one area that might be of interest to you, where Ronaldo did win through and surprised me a little bit, was on passes. Passes per 90, Weghorst averages 20, Ronaldo averages 28. Pass accuracy per 90, 73%, 84%. Now, you could cover up and say, well, Weghorst has been played for Burnley for 6 months of that, whereas Ronaldo plays for Man United. Yeah, you can say that, but ultimately that doesn't affect your passing accuracy. Ronaldo, you could only play 5 passes per 90 and have a 90% pass rate, So his passing is probably an area that he needs to work on. But look, defensively, more work, and goal conversion is better. So look, there's a lot to work with there. Hi Mark, realistically, what's the chance of getting Kane in the summer? And if we do, for him, how much do you think it will take? Says Darren. Welcome to the Members Club, Ahmad. Well, look, I want to just talk about Harry Kane, because it's sort of an exclusive, because it's somebody I spoke to this morning about the Weghorst deal. But it also backs up my hunch, which I've been talking to you for quite a long time. So Manchester United have basically highlighted through the press over the last 6 months that they're focusing on the summer transfer window, which is an excuse, but is also true, because United hate to do things in the January transfer window, as we know. So as things stand at the moment, and obviously Manchester United have got this scenario where they could hopefully be bought. And if you get bought by new owners, they may have completely different ideas of what the budget is and what's available. But as things stand, and I was told this morning by the same person who told me that basically Weghorst is done and it could be done officially today. Charlie says that Weghorst is not a long-term answer. However, he's a great option to have offensively and defensively. He will do a job, says Charlie. Thank you, Charlie. And yeah, 100%. Just before I talk about Kane, I do think that people need some clarity here. The Harry Kane, the Weghorst signing is 100% short-term stopgap, put a plaster on the wound. That United would admit that themselves if they dared. 100%. Weghorst could be a Man United player next year if it goes really, really well. But United, 100%, and you need to understand this, Weghorst is 100% a short-term, cheap option to get us through till the summer, where they then go and buy a signing. Weghorst knows that. Burnley know that. Man United know that. Ten Hag knows that. That's what the situation is. So, yeah, you're spot on, Charlie. The long-term plan for Manchester United is that Harry Kane. Now, it's always been a hunch of mine, but I got this from a really good source this morning. They were talking about Weghorst, and they basically said to me that the plan, there are a few names, Sesko, Harry Kane, Osimhen, but the player that is being really targeted is Harry Kane, and he's been targeted for a long time by people who are still at that club. I.e., you can guess, it could be John Murtagh, it could be current scouts that have got at the club. But he has been the target for a long, long time. And therefore, that's what Manchester United are looking to do. Now, Harry Kane is 30 in January, and quite rightly, Casemiro's 30. So you could say, well, that's not too much of an issue. He would be 30 by the time we bought him. Weghorst won't be number 7, Shane. Is there potential the new owners don't want Ten Hag? No, Des, that's not. I mean, there's always potential, but I don't think there's any reason to concern yourself about that. United have wanted Harry Kane for a long time for a multitude of reasons. Premier League proven goal scorer, high profile, sells your shirts, superstar striker, world-class striker. All those things are true. I can't deny that. Harry Kane wants to stay in the Premier League and break the Premier League goal record. He doesn't want to go to Bayern Munich. Spurs have only got 1 year left on his contract. He wants to leave Spurs. He wanted to leave Spurs back in last summer. Spurs will have to cash in. Man City don't want him anymore. Liverpool don't need him. Arsenal can't get him, wouldn't want him anyway. Chelsea won't go for him again. The own Manchester United, and I mean, look, in my words, not what I was told this morning, Man United and Harry Kane is the most obvious signing of the summer I've ever seen. It's not a hunch anymore. It's obvious. He wants to leave Spurs. Spurs can't keep him with 1 year left on his deal. He wants to break the Premier League goal scoring record. To do that, he's got to stay in the Premier League. Man United desperately need a top-class striker. Man United always like to buy a British striker. Not a British striker, a British player. It's so obvious. The only two factors are, does Ten Hag rate Harry Kane? Well, Ten Hag has made Sebastian Haller relevant. You know, he thinks he can do it with Weghorst. He's going to definitely want Harry Kane. And Newcastle are a potential factor as well. That's the only thing that could stop it. But I think it's my hunch has been Kane for weeks. You know that. And to hear what I've heard this morning about that it doesn't surprise me. Would I sign Harry Kane? You know what? I've got to be honest. I think he's world class, and I'm not going to get into an argument with people because it is all about opinion. But I wouldn't sign Harry Kane. No, I wouldn't sign Harry Kane. I've said this so many times. I wouldn't sign Harry Kane. I think he's played a lot of football in the last decade. I think he's had numerous injuries that will come back and hurt him in his 30s. I think he would decline sharply in his 30s, and I wouldn't go anywhere near him for £80 million and the wages and contract we'd give him. That's just my opinion. I could be completely wrong on that, but I wouldn't do it. I think go for somebody who's 22, 23. I mean, Osimhen for me would be perfect. There are other candidates out there. Sesko would be very interesting. I wish we'd got a Haaland or a Nunez, but look at the age profile of Haaland and Nunez. Early 20s, proven themselves. That's what I would do. I think the profile of striker to go for this day is to go for a young 20s, loads of potential, lots of people are looking at them. I wouldn't go for Harry Kane, but look, he could be an absolute revelation for Manchester United. I can't say he's going to be a flop, but I think that is obviously the plan, and I had that confirmed to me this morning from a very good source that United's priority striker in the summer is Harry Kane. Depay to Atleti on loan. Seems we could have used that instead of Weghorst, says Umad. I mean, you know what? Weghorst is going to sign. 100% he's going to sign for Manchester United. As I say, it's basically deal done, and United have to, just announce it when they're going to announce it. Would I want Weghorst or Memphis? Can I just run a poll on that? Because I'd have to think about that. For me, it's not an obvious one. Would I want Gakpo or Memphis? Gakpo every day of the week. Would I want Felix or Memphis or Weghorst? Felix every day of the week. But Memphis, Weghorst, I think you're shopping in the same place, really. You're shopping in the bargain aisle, aren't you? You're shopping in the reduced section. You're shopping in the place where the sell-by date, you've got to consume it quickly. So that's what the club have inflicted. And I don't understand why people don't understand this. I mean, even Adam was quote tweeting. Adam from the United Stand was quote tweeting a tweet this morning where he basically was saying that United have probably got the best deal out of Gakpo to Liverpool, João Felix to Chelsea, and Weghorst to Man United. But I just think that's Glazer sympathising, and you might not even realise it because you're basically trying to take on good deals with a bad deal to protect your club. And I get that, but who's inflicted that bad deal on us? It's not Ten Hag, it's not you, it's the Glazers. And I want Weghorst to do really well, I really, really do, but I don't understand the mindset of fans who are going, well, we've got the better deal, Weghorst is better than Gakpo, he's better than Felix. I don't understand that mindset, because all you're doing is defending the incompetence of the Glazers and John Murtough and Richard Arnold and everyone else who's incompetent at this football club. I want Weghorst to do well. We all want him to do well because Ten Hag has picked him from a very limited budget as a short-term solution. But let's not pretend it's a good deal. I can't get my head around why people think it's a good deal. It's a bad deal because it's not the deal that Ten Hag wanted because he's not been backed. He's making the best out of a bad situation. Welcome, Weghorst. I hope you do really, really well. But it's a cheap plaster on the wound when we should be backing the manager who is doing such a fantastic job. So I hope Weghorst does well, but let's not pretend that this is a good deal that was planned out for months. It's a desperation deal that we need to go well. It's the same as Cavani, which did go well. It's the same as Agallo, which went bad. It's desperate, it's cheap, and it's not really what a manager should be having. But I hope he does do well. But I'm not going to sit here and lie and say, well, if I had the choice between Gakpo, Felix and Weghorst, I'd go for Weghorst. No, I bloody wouldn't. I'd go for Felix and I'd go for Gakpo every day of the week. But we are where we are, and we've got to hope it works because that's basically the situation. Interesting on the vote, 79% of you would go for Weghorst over Memphis. I think I have to agree with the majority there. It's a tough one, but Memphis has been here, and I just think Weghorst offers a short-term solution that might not work, but if it did work, we'd probably offer him a contract. So, whereas I don't know what Memphis offers really. I really don't. I also think as well, the problem with going for Memphis, and I don't know whether you've picked up on this, for some reason, you could argue some of this fan base, but certainly some of the media, have a real issue with people not from the UK with flair. I mean, Anthony is just getting pelters, which I do not believe. Did you know that Anthony's got more goals than Jesus? Jesus is a brilliant signing for Arsenal. Brilliant player. And yet Anthony's got more goals and is apparently a flop. I just find it really weird how people cannot be patient with Anthony, cannot give him a chance. And I do suspect it's because he's a flamboyant player, not from the UK, who cost a lot of money. But, I put it on Twitter this morning. I was looking at the player ratings on the Manchester Evening News, and most of it was right. Elanga got a low score, McTominay got a low score. Malacia got a lower score than Maguire, which I thought was weird. But Garnacho got a 6, and Tom Heaton got a 7, and Maguire got a 6, and Garnacho got a 6. And I'm like, that's the problem with one individual doing player ratings. That's why I love our player ratings, because our player ratings is voted for by you. Well, you gave Garnacho man of the match. I gave him man of the match, but I'm an individual. Thousands of you voted and gave Garnacho man of the match. This player ratings gave him a 6 and basically described him as having good moments but too many frivolous, wasteful moments. And I'm like, this is just so odd. I mean, if he had a British passport, I think it would be a different player rating. I genuinely do. Because I just think that we've got a mind block with foreign flair players. And I think we've lost our way of what Man United is. And I'm going to use a British player here. Ryan Giggs used to have loads of games like Garnacho last night, where he gets the ball, you're on the edge of your seat, and the final ball just doesn't work. But for me, has an exciting game. And I've been at Old Trafford and I've seen those games from Ryan Giggs. He gets his head down, he runs at people, he goes to the byline, he cuts it back, someone's not read it. He gets in the box, he has a shot, the keeper makes a good save. He runs at somebody, he gets tackled after going past 2 more players. This is why I love football. My favourite players are edge-of-the-seat players. Anthony Martial, Marcus Rashford, Anthony, Garnacho. But previously, Wayne Rooney, Ryan Giggs, Cristiano Ronaldo. Nani, these players that just, they're never going to go past and score every time. But they skip past one player, then they get tackled. They go past 2 players, they put a cross in, it's not quite that good. They go past one player, they shoot, it's just wide. I love it. I absolutely love it. And Garnacho bottled that last night. I mean, he bottled it and sold it. Wakey, we've got a bottle of Garnacho. £500. £500. But, he was so good last night. And I can't see... I think it's criminal to give him an average scoreline when he entertained us for most of that game. For me, he's man of the match because so many times, I know it didn't work, but he did so many good things, and it was edge-of-the-seat football. This sort of thing should be celebrated, and on top of that, he's a youngster. I just think it's scary. It's scary sometimes, people's opinions that then... I mean, look, I know this. I have to be very careful, but it's scary how an opinion can go out to the masses, and some people might believe it. There is no way Garnacho was an average 6 performance last night. I 100% agree he was man of the match. Anthony is brilliant, won't hear another word, says Umad. Welcome to the Members Club, Veros and Krishna, and thank you very much for that. We gave a little bit of a glimpse of comparisons between Weghorst and Ronaldo. We're going to deep dive even more on a members video that's going out this afternoon. I'm going to bring in a couple of other strikers as well, and we're going to compare everything about Weghorst to Ronaldo and a couple of other strikers over the last 12 months. So we'll be deep diving into passing accuracy, pressures, aerial duels, the lot. We'll go really deep into it. Attacking actions, all sorts. Assists, the lot. Check it out if you're a member and join if you're not. Thanks very much for your support. So I want to talk a bit about Ten Hag. He spoke after the game last night. What did he have to say? Well, he basically had to say this. We're through into the semi-finals of the Carabao Cup. Eric, what are your thoughts on that? Last four is nothing. Last four is nothing. You've got to win it. My man. What a manager. I love it. I love what he's doing. This is why I get more frustrated about them not giving him what he should be given. I think if you gave Ten Hag the money, he'd deliver you the kingdom. I really do. I feel like Ten Hag is a bit like Russell Crowe in The Gladiator. You give him the army, he'll conquer lands for you. Where do you want the line to stop? Because I'll just keep going. If you don't give him a very big army and he's going to go to war for you, he will get defeated because he will get overwhelmed by a bigger army. I really do think that is what it's a very good example of what we've got with Ten Hag. If you give him the resources, he will conquer the world. If you don't give him the resources, then obviously bigger armies are probably going to defeat him. And that's what January is for me. I feel that we fought and gained a lot of ground over the last 5 months, and the next 5 months we could really go and achieve some real, progress. But I don't think they're backing up that army, and I think that army's tired. I think the army's done really well for him, but I think it's tired. And you're asking it to go and conquer bigger things and bigger victories when they're tired. They should be reinforcing him, and unfortunately we're not to the extent we should be. Eric Ten Hag is turning water into wine. Hopefully he can turn Wout into Zlatan. I'd love it, dear Dr. J. Hi Mark, I would take Harry Kane to United. Remember when he signed Van Persie at 29, he did not win any trophies and single-handedly won the Premier League. It can happen again with Kane. I believe my opinion, says George. Thank you, George. One thing I would say, George, and there's always an answer. Van Persie won us the title. He gave us 1 year. Van Persie's story was very different. That team was one player away from winning the title. Van Persie came in, we won the title, Sir Alex Ferguson retired, and Van Persie fell off a cliff as well. You can't really use Van Persie as the example to why Harry Kane would work. Harry Kane would have to work because he's Harry Kane. He can't work because it worked with Van Persie 10 years ago. Very different circumstances. We got 1 year out of Van Persie and it didn't work after that. Would Harry Kane be able to come in for 1 year as win as the title? If that works, great. But I think we need a striker that's going to give us 4 or 5 years. Is that not what we don't need a 1 year striker? We need a 5 year striker, and that's why I would have concerns about Harry Kane. I completely agree with people who say, well, it worked with Van Persie, and if you're looking for a 1 year deal, great. But I think we need a 5 year striker, and I don't think a 30-year-old Harry Kane is going to give us 5 years of what he's done in his last 5 years. That's why it's a no from me. But 100% world-class striker, 100% Man United want him, and 100% it could work. I'm just giving you my opinion that I would rather we did what Man City and Liverpool have done and go for a player in their early 20s that will definitely give us 5 years. But it's not going to be down to me. And I loved Van Persie; he was brilliant. Eric Ten Hag also gave us updates on injuries. The low is a precaution that he was taken off for last night. They're going to have to see what happens over the next 24 hours. Ten Hag basically saying it's a precaution, and we'll just have to wait and see. On Donny van der Beek, he said that actually there are still tests to be done on Donny, and then we'll give an update. So it's a bit weird with Donny because it's 2 weeks he's been out, and they're still not able to give the definitive update. So that no news is always good news. But as I said, I had information last week that Van der Beek injury was really bad, and you worry about really bad because you stop thinking about season ender and you think, could it be longer than that? But hopefully there might be some positive news because they're still running tests on it. A lot of the best strikers recently have been 30 plus, says Robert McCormack. Thank you very much, Robert. Get those posters back up on the wall. Obviously, Pellistri did well last night. Pellistri's come out and, the stories have come out about Pellistri. There are loan deals on the table for Pellistri, and he's always been a player that apparently is going to go on loan in January. He would like to stay. He would like to go. There's been stories of both. My hunch is I think he's going to go. I think he's going to go on loan because I just don't see where he's going to get the game time. But Ten Hag spoke glowingly about him afterwards and said that he'd played well in a behind the closed doors games against Everton, back in December. Obviously he's done well. He mentioned he did well in the World Cup. So it's just whether Ten Hag can find some game time for him, because I think if he goes on loan he'll play a lot of football. If he stays, maybe not. But I mean, I never took them down, says Robert. Fire. Don't burn them, Robert. But look, Elanga needs to go. I think Elanga is really just stagnating and getting too much game time and needs to go on loan. Elanga to Everton. Could this happen this window, says Ahmad? I personally think Elanga should go to the Championship. For his career, I'm not convinced that Everton is the right place for him to go. I don't think Elanga playing for Everton in the Premier League is going to help Everton improve. I hate to say that, but I don't. I think Elanga's career would be better served at Birmingham or at Reading or somewhere like that. I don't think he's a Premier League solution. Let Everton do it if they want to do it, but I would say to Everton, he is not going to keep you up. He is not going to score you 4 or 5 goals. He has shown nothing like that in a United shirt. I think Elanga should be in the Championship with Mejbri and Ahmad. I think that's where Elanga should be, and there we might see some development. But it's up to Everton if they do that deal. Hopefully United will do it, and I'd like to see Pellistri given some game time, but we'll have to wait and see. Mark, Donny's injury only happened last Tuesday. Can't imagine it will be much longer now before we know, says James M. Thank you very much, James. I'm getting lost. I thought it was 2 weeks, so thank you very much for that. There's a story coming out that Inter will sell Denzel Dumfries in January. It's quite a good source as well, but they want about 50 million quid. Well, I'm pretty sure Inter would sell Denzel Dumfries for 50 million pounds in any month, not just January. So that is quite interesting. The cold harsh fact is that Man United will not be signing Denzel Dumfries in January. The cold harsh fact is that Denzel Dumfries was Erik ten Hag's number 1 right back target in the summer. Obviously, since then, we've seen the development of Dalot. I don't think he's even a target for Ten Hag anymore, if I'm honest. But I think he'll end up going to Chelsea. That is my theory, is he will end up going to Chelsea and not Manchester United. So, that's what I think is going to happen with that. I'd like to think he will. Well, look, we're not going to sign Denzel Dumfries. It's just not going to happen. We don't have the money, and I don't actually. We can all be negative about the Glazers, director of football, everybody. I completely agree with that negativity, 100%. But sometimes a deal is a bad deal, and some people might think João Felix was a bad deal. Some people might think Gakpo's a bad deal. We all have our personal opinion. But you also have to remember what the manager wants. And the manager did want João Felix. He did want Gakpo, and he should have been given one of them. He did want Dumfries in the summer. But I don't know what Ten Hag's opinion on Dumfries is now. But I wouldn't go anywhere near Dumfries for 40 million, price-wise. I'd pay 25 million for Dumfries. That's what I would pay. But I wouldn't buy him anyway now, because he's in his mid-20s, he's established, and he wants to start. I wouldn't take Dalot out of the team. I don't want a right-back that benches Dalot. Some people might, I don't. I want a right-back that comes in, like Malacia is doing with Luke Shaw. Luke Shaw is our first-choice left-back, and I'm very happy with what Malacia is doing. I know he wasn't that good last night, but I expect that. I like the fact that he's playing games. Some games he's playing really well. Some games you can still see he's learning the trade. And I always use Patrice Evra. Patrice Evra wasn't very good for his first 6 months as he learnt the league and he learned his trade at Man United. And I see similarities with Malacia. I think he's showing promise, but then there's games where it's not so good. And I think he'll get better and better. That's what development is. I want that at right back. Dumfries benches Dalot, and then Dalot's stuck in a place where, what's going on. Dalot's my first choice right back. I want to bring a right back in like Gusto from Lyon. I want that sort of a right back. So I'm not concerned. If Dumfries goes to Chelsea, I'm not going to sit there and go, oh, United have missed out again. I personally think it's a deal that Ten Hag wouldn't want to do now. He's seen Dalot. Talking about a right back, how much has Aaron Wan-Bissaka improved? Never thought I'd see him being attacking. Love Ten Hag, says Alistair. I mean, look, Wan-Bissaka's a weird one. There are clubs that want to take him in January, and the word out of United is that they still would like to see him go. And that Ten Hag would like to see him go. But logically, I mean, I've always liked Wan-Bissaka. Everyone knows I've always said I think he needs to go, but I've always liked Wan-Bissaka. I think he's a good player. I just don't think he's what we need, and I think he needs to play first-team football. But if that Dalot injury is bad again, Wan-Bissaka has to play, and therefore you've got to keep him till the summer. I think we're almost in a position with Wan-Bissaka now where it would be not a terrible idea to keep him at the club until the summer, and then probably let him go. Hopefully with new owners, where you can go and do whatever you want at right back. Mark, we should send Elanga to Burnley and recall some players as backup for the next season. Well, hopefully we'll have new owners in the summer, mate, and then we'll be absolutely fine. But yeah, I think the right back situation is quite interesting because I'm not 100% sure that we'll actually go and buy anybody. And I might be completely wrong here, but apart from outgoings, I think Weghorst will be the only incoming this January transfer. Now you can make your own mind up about that. I think we all want Weghorst to do well. But I think you can want Weghorst to do well and also say €3 million investment and backing for Ten Hag in a January transfer window is an outrage, and it is. Of course, it is. It is an outrage, but hopefully we'll be fine. And I've got to say, I saw the logo down yesterday, and I saw the logo down yesterday, and I thought I was even in my head saying, "Told you so, told you so." I'm really worried. I'm really worried about the next 5 months. I'm worried about the next week. I mean, I don't want to say this, but apparently Anthony Martial missed training yesterday. I don't know why. Not yesterday, Monday. Apparently Martial didn't train on Monday. He wasn't in the squad yesterday. So I'm already in that mindset of, is Martial injured again? Now, if Martial's injured again, the Weghorst deal is nullified, because all Weghorst does is replace an injured player. We've still not got a backup striker, so that's not Weghorst's fault, by the way. But I'm very concerned about where we are with that. I don't know whether Martial's injured. There was just a rumour going around last night that he missed training on Monday and obviously wasn't in the squad at all yesterday. So if that's what's happened, then there's no news on the new owners. No news on the new owners. Sorry, somebody was asking a question there. I thought it was an exclamation mark. It was a question mark. Bradders says Martial was being rested, Mark. Why didn't he train on Monday then? Are we resting him from training as well then? That's my concern. But the bigger point is, when Delot has that happen to him yesterday, and then Van der Beek has that happen to him the week before, and then you get these concerns about Martial, that's 3 players in a week that are potentially going to miss games. And we're only at the start of January. We've got to get to the end of May. How many more players over the next month, next 2 months, 3 months, 4 months are we going to lose? And I said this the other day. There is no player in that team we can afford to lose because I don't trust the backups. I mean, I think Fred's doing quite well as a backup. Maguire and Lindelof are okay. Wan-Bissaka's done quite well. But we can't afford to lose Casemiro, Eriksen, Bruno, Rashford, Anthony, Shaw, Varane, Martinez. We can't afford to lose these players. And that's my concern. That has always been my concern. It's been my concern from August. I said it in August. I think United won't get top 4. And a lot of people are like, he's got to get to top 4. We've got to demand top 4. And I'm like, I knew this season was going to be relentless. I knew the World Cup. I know that squad's not got the depth it needs. I think if Ten Hag can pick his best 11 every week, every game, we'd win trophies and we'd get top 4. The thing that will stop us getting top 4 and winning trophies will be fatigue and injuries. And nobody can predict that. Nobody can predict that. Talking of that, though, Harry Maguire was talking after the game yesterday. Some people have been a bit unfair here and said he's warning the rest of the players that he's there to take their place. I don't think he was saying that. I think he was saying that, United have to win trophies, and he's right. And I think he was also saying that, I'm playing well, and I'm fighting for my place, which is, sometimes you've got to be fair and say, look, I know a lot of you would sell Harry Maguire. I'd wait till the summer. But, what do you want him to say? I'm absolutely shit and we'll never win any trophies. Oh, get him out of our club. what he's come out and said is Man United have to win trophies and I'm fighting for my place. He also said that, you know, I was a bit unlucky after the World Cup because I was ill for a couple of weeks and now I've come back. And you know what? I don't think it would have made any difference, but he is right. He missed a couple of games that he probably would have expected to play, and then Varane was back and, you know, his chance had gone. He won't play in the derby unless we've got injuries. He might play against Palace. I don't think he'll play against Arsenal. Harry Maguire is what he is. He is third. He might be third choice. No, he's probably fourth choice, isn't he? I could say Luke Shaw's probably third choice at the moment. He seems to have skipped ahead of Lindelof anyway. So that's progress for Harry. But look, I don't mind what's happened against Bournemouth and what happened last night. I don't mind Maguire playing those sort of games because, you know, Varane is a little bit like Martial. I do worry every bloody press conference that we're going to get Varane's out for 2 weeks. So Maguire has got himself in a decent position, but obviously best position for Manchester United is on the bench at the moment. And Martinez and Varane are our best options. But, you know, we need players who can step in. Mark, I'm not sure if you saw this, struggling with fatigue. We desperately need signings, says Mikel. My only grievance is I would like Ten Hag and United to be more transparent with player health and injuries, says Dylan. Aren't you guys worried Kane could just absolutely flop due to his age? I think there's too much risk. I agree, Vag, but you can't argue that he's world class. Ferros says, I love your show from all the way here in Singapore. I'm so excited for the City game this weekend. Would love it if we beat City and dampen their title chance, even if we don't win the title. There you go. I think it's such a massive game. Off topic, how do you rate the Secret Lab, says Aston Tan. Don't know what that is. Oh, are you talking about my chair? Yeah, you are. I like my chair. Yeah, I like my chair. I mean, I'd like someone to contact me and do me a special designer chair, but I'm very happy with this. But no, it's very, very good. Look, we're building towards that Manchester derby. Weghorst will be here at that time. Very excited by this derby. You know, we were talking last night about the potential to, you know, make some changes and, you know, bring some players in. I think that's quite interesting. I think Fred's a consideration. Bruno will obviously come back. Do you put Luke Shaw in at centre back? Do you put him at left back and play Martinez? Is Martinez quite ready? All I would say about this Man City game is I believe we have to get a result. A draw's not the end of the world, but we can't lose. I think for everything we've done over the last few weeks and everything that Ten Hag's done over the last few months, it's at Old Trafford. We have had a good record there. Man City, we've got to get a result, because if we don't get a result and we get beat, it sort of makes you go, what are we? And I don't feel that will happen on Saturday. I think we've got some players in fantastic form. I think the crowd's buzzing. I think the fans are buzzing. I think Ten Hag has learnt a lot. I think this is the real test. I think the game at the Etihad came too soon, and Pep schooled him. I think this is Ten Hag versus Pep, the real first challenge. Dirk says, Van Persie's debut season ended up being Sir Alex Ferguson's last. If Sir Alex Ferguson stayed, I think he would have been more successful. That left foot. Yeah, maybe. But, you know, some would say that Van Persie... Yeah, I loved Van Persie. Would you start Garnacho against City, says Millard? I'd have to have a think about that. Daniel says it's not a disaster if City beat us. What sort of mentality is that, Daniel? What sort of mentality is that? We've not even played them yet, and you're saying it doesn't matter if we lose to City. I think you're a troll, mate. I really do. Get back under the bridge. If we get beat by Man City, we'll deal with it and we'll move on and we'll go again. But you can't say that before the game's been played. You've got to have ambition. You've got to have ambition. That's what we're all about. Anyway, look, thanks everybody for watching. Don't forget the members section. I've got a deep dive video on Weghorst coming up this afternoon, exclusive for the members. We do this quite a lot. If you are a member, you get your badge next to your name and some exclusive extra content. So I'll be putting that up this afternoon. Just deep diving into Weghorst, comparing him to other strikers in all sorts of different areas. So if you're interested in that, make sure you keep an eye out. If you're a member, if you're not, you can click the join button. 8 o'clock show tonight. Yes, there is an 8 o'clock show tonight, and we'll have a video at 2. It's Wednesday, isn't it? So, yeah, lots going on. I wouldn't be surprised if deal done for Weghorst is done today. We'll have to wait and see, but officially done. The only thing waiting on that is Besiktas getting their striker in. And as I said, we're in a triangle. Ronaldo to Al Nassr, Abubakar from Al Nassr to Besiktas, and then Besiktas send Weghorst back to Burnley and we take him on loan. So it's going to happen. It's basically done. It's just get that official announcement, and he's expected to be in the matchday squad for the game on Saturday lunchtime. So Weghorst is on his way. Wout Weghorst. Speak to you all in a bit. Thanks everyone for watching and take care.